Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Chow with Lau, and in this episode we are cooking beef and broccoli. Hey YouTube and welcome back to my kitchen. We are cooking beef and broccoli spears, one of my favourite restaurant dishes. Not only do you get tender beef, crisp crunchy broccoli, a few slivers of onions in a lovely savoury tiny bit sweet sauce. It's actually quite healthy. I whispered that because obviously we're not here for our health, we're here for our enjoyment, right? But what if you can have both? Broccoli is one of our superfoods and you can have lots and lots of it in this dish, so it's going to be great. So here's what you're going to need. Right guys, for this recipe we are going to use about 200 grams of beef. This is topside. You can use sirloin steak if you want, or fillet steak if you're feeling really extravagant. I'm going to teach you how to velvet and make beef a little bit more tender with a technique in a minute. 200 grams feeds around 2 people. So you can scale this up or down depending on how many people you're feeding. We are going to use a fresh head of broccoli. Don't use frozen because frozen will go to mush when you start to cook it. We don't want that. You want a fresh head of broccoli. You're going to need a little bit of light soy sauce. We're going to need a little bit of sesame oil. We're going to need some oyster sauce, around about a tablespoon. We're going to use a little bit of cooking oil. Again, we're going to use about a tablespoon of cooking oil in total. That makes this dish even healthier. Bit of salt and pepper, of course. That's pretty much common to all recipes, isn't it? I've got 150 ml of stock here. I'm using vegetable stock. You can use beef stock, chicken stock, whatever you fancy. 2 cloves of garlic, half an onion, some sodium bicarbonate to help tenderize the beef, a bit of sugar to go in there as well to add to the marinade, and a little bit of corn flour. I've got about just over a tablespoon of corn flour. A little bit of that's going to go into the marinade, and the rest of it is going to go to thicken the sauce at the end. Okay, so without further ado, get your woks ready. Okay guys, so I've cut the beef into little strips, so the meat goes further and it cooks quicker and more evenly. That's something you'll find in a lot of Chinese cooking. Okay, so what we're going to do is technically called velveting, which means we're going to tenderize the beef with the sodium bicarbonate. Is chemically going to tenderize the meat. Don't ask me how, it just does. Generations of Chinese people have done it, so it's good enough for me. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate into the beef. I'm going to put a teaspoon of corn flour into the beef. I'm going to put a teaspoon of sugar. The sugar really is for the marinade side of it, rather than tenderization. Is that a word? I've just made a word. So it's more the marinade than it is the tenderizing of it. Okay. Oh, new bottle of soy sauce. There's nothing like the popping of a new bottle of soy sauce, he says, ripping it out and splashing himself all over. Oh, no, I managed it. That's a first. Right, so we're going to have about a teaspoon of light soy sauce and a teaspoon of sesame oil. Okay, so whenever you're marinating beef, sesame oil, light soy sauce, sugar, you will never go wrong. Okay, so clean fingers, I'm going to go in and we're going to massage this in. And let the chemical action of the sodium bicarbonate do its stuff. As you can see, it makes the beef instantly a bit paler, and that's part of the process, apparently. Okay, and then you can leave this in the fridge with some cling film over it for about 2-3 hours, and at the other end of it you'll have melt in the mouth beef. Trust me, try it, it works. Okay, so on to the next step, we're going to prepare the broccoli. Okay, so the next step is to cut our broccoli. And what we're going to do is take the main stem off and then cut it into our little trees. This is how we convince all our children to eat broccoli. We call them trees. How cute. And we're looking for florets. Florets, I like florets. I like the word florets. Don't know why. Okay, so I'm just looking for a little bit more. So yeah, we're going to use around 3/4 of that head of broccoli. If they are a bit too big, we can slice them open again. You want them kind of like bite-size-ish pieces. Not too small though. Something like that. Hold on, that's a big piece. A bit like that. There we go. That should do it. And we're going to put them into a boiling pan of water for about a minute just to blanch. Okay guys, so we're going to put the broccoli we just cut up into the saucepan of boiling water. I've put just a tiny bit of salt there just to get the boiling temperature up even higher. And we're going to gently pop them in, get the temperature really hot, and literally a minute. Okay, no longer than a minute. They're still going to be crunchy when they come out. There is nothing worse in this dish than soggy broccoli. We just can't be having that. So literally a minute. Okay, so we've been furiously boiling away for about a minute, and that'll do. That is fine. That is fine. So we're just going to drain. And what you'll see is we've still got the vibrant green. It's still really, really nice and green. It hasn't faded. It's not gone to mush. That's exactly what we need for this recipe, okay? So don't overcook your broccoli. Okay guys, now we're on to the business end of the recipe. So I'm going to pour some cooking oil. About a tablespoon, no more, no less. We don't need a lot. And we swirl it around the pan. I've sliced the half onion into fine slices, and I've just topped and tailed and skinned the garlic and given them a whack with a knife so it's crushed. We don't need to do any more than that. So the first thing we're going to put into this very hot wok are the onions and garlic. Get our sizzle on. As always, the secret to wok cooking is keep the heat as hot as you dare. Keep the ingredients moving. Yeah, you're not going to burn anything straight away. Be brave with it. Let the onions start to wilt a little bit. We still want them to be crunchy at the end or have some bite to them. But don't worry about burning them. Keep it moving. We can toss the wok like that. The smell of the onions and garlic, as you would imagine, would be really appetizing. Gets your taste buds going. Okay, and now we'll make a hole in the middle. And here's where we put the beef in. We layer it on. Now the secret, or the technique that we're going to use, is to spread it over the bottom of the wok and don't move it, don't toss it, don't stir it for about 30 seconds or so. Let it start to caramelize. Otherwise beef starts to kind of release its juices too early and you end up boiling it rather than frying it, and we really want to fry it. Okay, once we get that little bit of a kind of a crust on it, then you can stir fry it properly. But until then, we need to keep it still so it doesn't start to boil. That's very important. Okay. So I'd say we're about there now, so we can start to move it. Yep, as you can see, we're getting a bit of caramelization there. And now we can go in and start stir frying. Yes. At this point, we can add a little bit of salt, a little sprinkle of pepper. Keep it moving. Lovely. Okay, now we can introduce the stock to start making that sauce. So a little bit of sauce there. And we're going to put in about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. We can be a little bit fast and loose with the quantities, but I'd say it's about a tablespoon. Give it a good stir. Oh wow, look at that. Add a teaspoon of sugar. Beautiful. And we're going to put just a tiny bit of this corn flour. I don't think it needs that much thickening, to be honest. So we're just going to put a little bit of that in, not all of it. It's corn flour and water, that is. Bringing that back up to the boil and it'll thicken the sauce, but we do want some sauce, so we don't want to completely make it gloopy. We don't want a glaze, we want a sauce. And that's it. Okay, let's introduce it to the broccoli. And this is what I like to do. Pour it onto it, make a kind of like a nest of broccoli and pour the beef over it. Some people like to stir fry it back into the sauce, but I like to do it like this because it keeps the broccoli even crisper. And there you have it, guys. Beef and broccoli. Get your taste buds ready. It's tasting time. My favorite part of the day. Right. Look at this. It just looks amazing. Let me try some of the broccoli. Still crunchy. It was perfect. Just exactly the way I like it. And the beef is kind of sweet, it's lovely, tender. And the sauce just marries the two things together. It is such a nice dish. It's so hard to believe that this is actually a really healthy dish. So no excuses, guys. You got to try this. It is just amazing. Every time I have it, I wonder why I don't cook it more often. But yeah, this is going to be a regular in the Lau household from now on. Brilliant. So thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe, like, and hit that bell button so you're alerted to all my new videos. We're trying to hit you with 2 videos a week at the moment, which is something I'm finding that I'm enjoying doing. So I'm going to continue for as long as that happens. And yeah, thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.